Good evening, everyone, and welcome to This Week from Rockdale. I am your host, Larry Cox, and it is great to be here this evening. I hope you guys are having a good evening, and I am excited, as usual, of being here and just sharing the show with you. We're going to talk about a few things tonight. But first, I want to welcome some people to the show, as we always do. So we've got Charlotte Geller. Welcome to the show. Jill Oden. Welcome to the show. Uh, and we've got Kelly Hunter. Welcome to the show. We are going to talk about the chairman and him being maybe a little bit missing or uh, uh, whatever he's up to. But we are going to discuss that a little bit. And we got some information to discuss about all that. And I think you guys are going to find it amusing and interesting the way we present this story tonight. And I am glad to have all you guys on the show tonight. And it's just a pleasure to have you guys here. And I am, as always, glad that you guys have joined me. And let's do something. Things are so These things are so important for people to know as we're approaching the primary. And I actually want to thank each and every one of you last week for helping spread the word and spread the message, because thanks to you last week, our two shows and the Facebook page, we got 1,602 people came to this page and looked at this story. So that is a phenomenal number on Facebook nowadays. We got 1,602 people in a 7 day time span came and looked at this page, and they looked at this story. So that's getting the word out there, guys. That's getting the word out in the county about this stuff. And I really think if we keep pushing this kind of information, if we give people this information, I really think that in the end of the day, that we could end the reign of terror known as Oz Nesbitt. I really think it can happen. I think we have got the potential, we've got the possibility, and I think that we can really do this. Uh, with Kelly, I'm going to put your comment up here because I think you're absolutely right that that I've seen so many people on all apps about my lawsuit against Oz, and they are not happy about Oz on Nextdoor, except. And you're correct, Kelly. They're not happy about it. But Kelly, I mean, and this is a pattern with this individual. Uh, we've got his bad. I mean, this is the reason he's not in Augusta, a police officer anymore. This exact kind of behavior, that this individual has a pattern of a certain type of behavior, and the citizens of Rockdale County, they deserve better, and they deserve more. They do. They deserve more. So that's why I'm asking you right now. We did such a great job last week of getting by word of mouth and sharing this information. But let's share this show. Let's share and like it. Hit the share button, hit the like button if you're on Facebook. Let's share this show so the people in Rockdale County can know what's going on. Like I said, we did a great job uh, last week of getting this out there. 1,602 people visited the This Week from Rockdale site. 1,602 views. Guys, that was amazing. It's a record for anything I've ever done. I've never done a show that got that kind of response. A lot of people went to my election page, also to my election website. And it was just fun because people are in the community talking about this right now. We can't let this momentum drop. We really can't. And we're going to talk about the missing chairman tonight. So the chairman, and I like to use a play on. He's not really missing. They know where he's at, but and I'll tell you why I'm using the phrasing he's missing. So we do know there was an email that went out that said that he was going to be, unavailable, and that he had put Sue Sanders in charge. We know this email exists because the email was read to some people. I've actually spoken personally with people in the county who got the email and said, yes, the email does exist. It does state that he is going to be gone and that Sue Sanders is in charge. So there was some ORRs asked. They didn't ask the right way. So it gave them some leadway to say, of course, this does not exist. So I talked to a couple of people and I gave them some verbiage that they can use, and they won't be able to say it doesn't exist once they, put the verbiage together the right way to not give them leadway, to say, you know, that it doesn't exist. It does exist. I have confirmation that it exists. A couple of the people that told me that it exists, trust me, guys, these are people that are in the know and they do know and they receive this in email. That's just the way it is, guys. It happened. So what from what we gather, he's gone somewhere. He's on a vacation. He took the month of January off. Wouldn't you love to have a job where you can take the month of January off? But let me tell you what this tells me. What this tells me is all this hoopla that they talk about that we can't do without a full-time chairman in Rockdale County. Guess what? The month of January, we have done just perfectly fine without a full-time chairman in Rockdale County. Now just imagine not having to pay that full-time $125,000-$30,000 salary and just paying somebody 30 grand to be a part-time commissioner. Just imagine that, guys. We that's the reality we live in. We've seen it's proof. It's proof, right? Chairman's been gone all month, and the counties continue to run. And guys, this is what we've got to look at. It's time that we move forward as a county. We make the changes that need to be that they need to be made, and we move on from the reign of the Wizard of Oz. We move on from Oz's reign. Enough is enough. Let's get this information out here. Now we're going to talk about some more yeah, must be all night where he's working on his book. I like that. So I'm going to share something right now. You guys have, of course, you've heard of the Rockdale Voter Groups, right? So the Rockdale Voter, we put together uh, uh, we've put together an email the Rockdale Voter did, and we sent it out to like around 5,000 people, I believe, and we'll see what happens with it. So, but I'm going to share the website right now. I'm going to show you what kind of information is on there, and you can go look at this website, and you can see what's going on. So if you hold on 1 minute, I got to go back to the thing here. I got to open this up and do this and view the site. So I think you guys are going to be able to view the site now. And this is what, the Rockdale Voter, and it's going to tell you, that so this is the website right here. This is the Rockdale Voter. It's serving the citizens of Rockdale County. Chairman Oz Nesbitt sexual harassment files. If you're a member of the, we gonna give a little explanation here, and then we go here, and you will see the documents that are downloaded that denied his application for reinstatement as a police officer in Augusta. Goes into detail as to what happened in that incident and why it was denied. This is Oz Nesbitt's officer profile in Augusta, Georgia, and this is the sexual harassment case that was here in Rockdale County. And this gives you some information, and then we actually have here that you can look and see he had federal tax liens and the declaration of candidacy and an affidavit that states that if you owe back taxes, you cannot hold office in Rockdale County. So, guys, we are we should have never been saddled with Mr. Nesbitt. He should have never been able to hold office because he, like we say, he was he owed taxes in the state of Georgia. You sign an affidavit that you do not owe taxes. If y'all remember, they when Stacey Abrams ran for governor that first time, and they talked about her owing taxes. She did owe taxes, but if you go into an agreement to repay the taxes, then that doesn't count because you're actually paying the taxes. So they they tried to come up with that. Stacey had followed the law. She did owe some taxes, but was in a payment program, which is totally legal to do. But Mr. Nesbitt was not in a payment program and had liens against these taxes. I think later on he did, probably after his 4 years in the first term he served. But guys, we've got a guy who has a pattern of bad behavior. And it's time that we, the citizens of Rockdale County, say enough is enough. And look, the proof is here, guys. And Kelly, you're right. I want to, should he have taken a vacation? Should he have taken a vacation when he has a new $16,000 lien on his cigar shop? Should he have taken the vacation, or should he have paid? Should he have paid the vendor who worked on a contractor who worked on the cigar shop? And Alex, you've got a valid question here. The GBI know where he is? Does the GBI know where he is? I think the GBI might know where he's at. I think there's a good chance the GBI knows where the chairman is. So, and there's, to be honest, I think everybody, all the folks that that are at the county level, they know where he's at also. But but this bad press, and it doesn't look good with him being gone. Doesn't look good with putting someone in charge when they say they can't do that. Got to have this full-time chairman. We can't have a county manager. We can't have that position because you've got to have this full-time chairman in charge. Well, you only have to have them in charge if they want them in charge, right? That's the way this rolls. So it's crazy, guys. Where is the missing chairman? And it's okay to put a civilian in charge if you want to, but if the citizens want a county manager and they want a civilian in charge of the day-to-day operation, then what we want doesn't matter, and we don't know what we're talking about. So like I said, he's been gone all month, and the county's fine. It just proves that the county manager system is what we need. It's what Rockdale County needs. That's just what needs to happen, guys. I'm excited about what's going on in the county, that the people in this county, I believe, have had enough. They're talking, they're spreading the word, and things are going to happen. So I want to, we've talked about the chairman, and you guys are all aware I'm running for the Board of Education. So some information came about this week that I decided to run for post 1, and I was going to run against Mandy North because Mandy's been on the board like 3 terms. If she would run this next time, it would be 4 terms. 3 terms is a crazy amount to serve. 4 terms, absolutely ridiculous to serve in that capacity, 4 different terms, especially when the education system is just declining and going downhill. So what I'd like to talk to you about is, from what I understand, Mandy sent an email out this week letting people know that there was some misunderstanding. She will be running for office, that she will be seeking re-election for her 4th term for post 1. So that means that there'll be 3 of us. 2 of us have filed DOIs, myself and Kevin Taft, and then Mandy has declared, send an email out saying she is going to be running for that position. I have a feeling that this board and this chairman coaxed Miss North to put her hat back in the ring because they don't want our Kevin, either one probably, to serve on that board, knowing that would swing the pendulum and the majority of that board if Justin Kenney is reelected, and that Terry Oates would be gone, and a lot of the bad policies that have been passed over the last 6 years during Oates's reign would be reversed and undone. One thing I want to talk to you about is, guys, A couple weeks ago, the board had a meeting and there was a thing, the consent agenda, which means consent agenda. Everybody consents to what's on the agenda. Well, they all didn't consent to what was on the agenda. There was an item on the agenda they wanted to discuss. Justin Kinney made a motion to remove something from the consent agenda so it could be discussed, and it was voted down 4-3. So what they wanted to discuss the Rockdale County graduations being held in DeKalb County instead of in Rockdale County. They wanted to discuss it so that people would understand if there was a valid reason why they were going to hold these graduations out of county. So I find that interesting. So what they did was they said, no, that's just crazy. We don't want to do that. Isn't it crazy that you've got the Board of Education who doesn't want to openly discuss decisions like that? Let's just do it in a consent agenda so we don't have to discuss it in open forum. Let's not discuss things in open forum. Let's put them on the consent agenda. So what else are they putting on the consent agenda that they don't want to discuss in open forum? What else are they talking about in executive committee meetings so that we aren't privileged to what happens in executive committee? What are they doing instead of the open meeting, executive meeting? What are they discussing in those meetings that they don't want you and I to know? I've also was told, we all know that the eSPLOST is going to be on the ballot in the presidential primary. I was told this week that if the eSPLOST doesn't pass, that the Board of Education would be facing bankruptcy. The Board of Education of Rockdale County depends on the eSPLOST to subsidize its budget. Now, we've talked about this, the county. If we don't have eSPLOST, we don't have parks, we don't have recreation, we don't have police cars, we don't have this. So we're looking at the same thing, the same abuse of these voluntary tax dollars. And remember, these SPLOST are voluntary dollars that these boards and these individuals should not be relying on. SPLOST dollars are monies that may or may not be approved by the taxpayers. So to count on them as a regular source of income, that's incompetency. That's being irresponsible. And Mandy North is she's an accountant. She's somebody who's supposed to know numbers and budgets. Do we really? So what kind of accountant are you if you're on this board and you allow this stuff and you vote for this and you vote for every single, she in line votes for everything that this superintendent wants. Now, they have a code of ethics and there's some policy that the state passed. And one of those things is you have to, if you're on the board, your primary interest is the education of the students are in the school system that you're representing. It also states a bunch of stuff in there about, not undermining the superintendent, and he has day-to-day authority. But your ultimate responsibility is to the students of Rockdale County. So if you go blindly along with everything that the superintendent says, are you upholding that obligation and pledge that you made to make sure that everything you're doing is for the benefit of the students of Rockdale County? I understand that every training that these board members go to, they're told, back the superintendent, do anything the superintendent says, never contradict the superintendent. Well, what if what the superintendent is doing makes you not comply with that first thing that you've pledged to do, is to make sure that the students of Rockdale County come first? This is ridiculous, guys. This is ridiculous that we're more worried about portraying an image and what we look like, just portraying it, not reality. Oh, Cheryl's got in here. What about the D? We don't have a D because the Rockdale County school system eliminated the D. The D doesn't exist. They passed a policy that D doesn't exist anymore. So the D doesn't exist. A D does not exist in Rockdale County any longer. You can't have a D because they don't recognize the letter D. It doesn't exist. I don't know how they're going to spell a lot of words now because D doesn't exist. The D doesn't exist. Guys, we are at a point in Rockdale County where we can't continue to let this nonsense go on. Let me tell you something. Just because I disagree with somebody doesn't mean I'm undermining him. It just means I don't agree with you. I don't. If someone wants to jump off a bridge and I try to talk them out of it, it's because I'm looking out for their best interest. Now, if the superintendent, the way that they've got this thing in their minds, if he says that he's going to push students off a bridge, we're supposed to back him because we can't undermine him. If we say you can't push students off a bridge, you can't do that to students, well, you can't undermine the superintendent. You're undermining his authority. Well, I can talk against things that are stupid, right? If you're passing policy that 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 hurts the students of this county, I have to defend the students of this county if it means speaking up against the superintendent. And if it means speaking up against the current majority of the board, which is wrong. They are wrong for supporting the superintendent, and they are wrong for passing his policy that allows him to underreport things that happen in this county. Disciplinary actions in the school system are very difficult right now. It's difficult for discipline to occur because this superintendent protects bad discipline. And why does he protect bad behavior? Because if you report bad behavior, it looks bad on the school system and it looks bad on his numbers. Let me tell you something, guys. They need to get a dose of reality. I actually am going to tell you right now, I think we should vote. I am personally going to vote no on the East Blast. And if I'm elected to the board, then I'll deal with what budgetary cuts need to be made to get through the next year until we approve a SPLOST and actually use the money properly if I'm on the board, because I will fight for the money to use it. Yes, Charlotte, a 68 is still a D, even though they don't recognize it. It is, but they don't recognize it. They don't recognize that D. Guys, Rockdale County could do so much better. We could do so much better if we decided that we would take a stand and vote these incumbents out of office at the Board of Commission, at the Board of Education. It's time. It's time, guys, that we say enough is enough. Enough is enough. When you've got a Board of Education that blatantly refuses to discuss matters in an open forum, and they say, well, we've got to maintain that we're this exemplary board and we can't look like we fight and disagree in public. Well, to be one of them exemplary boards, you basically just have to know how to tie your shoes and chew bubble gum at the same time. It's not difficult because it's awards they give themselves. They put in an application, they do some training, they do like 3 extra hours above what they have to have, and they get a certificate. It's not hard to get these things, but these people, and then they've got these fake awards, and they tout their fake awards, but they don't want to tout the fact that we've got students in this county graduating from high school who can't read and write. And that's the hard facts, folks. We've got students graduating from Rockdale County schools that cannot read and write. And that's the fact. We've got a chairman of the board of the commissioners that runs rampant, does what he wants, takes off when he wants, puts a civilian in charge, even when they say, you got to have this chairman, you got to have this super chairman. Things are out of control in this county, people, and we can make a change. Last week was a great start. We've got a great audience here tonight. If you guys share and like this show, we can, more people can see this. They can know what's going on, and we can impact those polls in May. We can make big change in May. We already have 6 people running for the Post 1 Commission right now, and that's not even counting Sherry Washington. So we've got 7 people that are slated to run for that Post 1 position. Do you know what I think 7 people running for that position means? It means we don't have to worry about Sherry Washington after this year because she's not going to win. Now we need to turn our eyes to Oz Nesbitt. We need to defeat Oz Nesbitt. Get him out of this county. Guys, if he wins this election, you will be paying him a check the rest of his life. He will qualify for a retirement. Do you want, the taxpayers of Rockdale County, do you want to stroke Oz Nesbitt a check the rest of his life? Do you, the taxpayers, want to stroke a check to him the rest of your life when you know that he is taxing you out of your homes? And that's reality. And then we turn to my race, the Post 1 Board of Education race, which is the race that will shift the power of the Board of Education. It will determine a new majority on that board, and it will be the end of Terry Oates and his reign of terror as the superintendent of Rockdale County. I think it's very clear what we need to do, people. We need to make a difference in this county. We need to defeat those incumbents. You need to elect Larry Cox to the Board of Education. And you want to see some heads roll, and you want to see some people shiver in their boots. When I'm on that board, they won't know how to handle it, folks. They will not know how to handle it because the truth can be painful. And I intend to speak a lot of the truth. You will have a voice if I'm on that board. You will have a voice and you will have action. Guys, we've been on here about 30 minutes now. That's long enough because I want, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a football game out in the other room out here. And I sort of want to watch that. But I am just so grateful that you came and joined me tonight on this show. I'm glad that we've got the numbers we've got. And I want you to share this show so that we can duplicate last week where we had 1,602 people visit this site. 1,602 people visited this site. With those kind of numbers, if we keep moving forward and we keep spreading the word, we can make things happen in Rockdale County, and you will be part of history. You'll be part of change. Thank you guys, and good night. And I look forward to next week when hopefully we find out where Oz Nesbitt has been and that he's okay. Because we want him to be even okay, because we want him to be okay because one day we might hope that we can put some cuffs on him and take him somewhere. Just saying. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I look forward to next weekend, and you guys have a good week and a safe week.